Thanks for coming, by the way.
See,
anytime.
is it on?
I love being able to share messages with whoever will listen.
Welcome to the Biz4Good show with your hosts Bobby, Glen, James, and Ryan Pilkington. The Biz4Good podcast is a fun and adventurous series that dives into the world of business, nonprofit, and startups, making a difference in the world for good. Get ready for another episode. Hey, cue that sick intro.
He gets in there, bro. He loves it.
It's nice to know the children cheer for this.
Yeah, welcome to the Biz4Good show. Welcome. I'm your host, Bobby, Glen, James, along with the Ryan Pilkington. And today we, of course, have an amazing guest. And who do we have today? We have Daryl Price with us today. Daryl Price, wave at the folks.
High five.
Hi, guys.
Awesome. Oh, I'll get some of that. Get some of that, man. Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah.
High fives. Can't get too many high fives in the realm. Well, welcome, Daryl.
Thank you.
For being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
We're always off the hip, just so you know. We didn't tell you this, but there is no editing on the show, so what you hear is what you get. What you say is what you get.
I've been told I'm 10 times better live. I was recording a program a few months ago with my partner, and she had the script and handed it to me and said, just stick to these points. And it was the most horrible thing I recorded. I threw it away, did it later. It was perfect.
There you go. Yeah, that's our philosophy, too. We're so much better live, right? Right, Ryan?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, raw is good, like healthy.
Healthy.
Yeah,
I've been told healthy raw foods is good, so raw everything else should be too, right?
That's right.
Awesome.
Great analogy.
Right from my head.
Oh, you know what is so funny? We're going live right now, but I am not recording the podcast.
That might be helpful. I'd love to get a copy later. Just saying.
Okay, Ryan.
Press record.
Yeah, I'm going to press record.
Should we do a silent and then start again? Or what do you want?
That's good enough.
All right.
Okay, listeners, you got a little extra piece.
On my Facebook.
Okay, welcome to the Biz4Good show for real this time. I'm your host, Bobby, Glen, James, and Ryan Pilkington. And we are today with Daryl Price today. Daryl, welcome to the show for real now.
We'll do the high
thank
five
you for
again.
having me for real.
So those of us, those folks that watch us on Facebook and all the others know what we're talking about, but you podcasters out there, you missed out on the first portion of the show that was,
live stream.
Yeah, that's what it was. I forgot to hit play.
You see, when you listen live, you get extra bonuses, listeners. I'm just saying. Learn the lesson.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, okay, we're going to go right into segments, and Daryl has been gracious enough to say, yeah, I'll take on the segments with you. I'll go for it. So he's gonna help us with the segments. What are we starting off with, Ryan?
We're starting off with the B4G studio news. Ta-da!
I feel like I should turn the page in the kids' book.
Yeah, there we go. And we want to thank all our listeners at this time for downloading, subscribing, whatever you're doing out there. Going to our website. Just keep doing that. Keep doing that. We love it.
Remember when we had 2 listeners? That was
cool.
us. Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was you and me. But, you definitely share what you're listening. We want more. The more we can grow this, the more we can spread the news, right? Spread the good news.
Spread the news. Do good, be good. Be good, do good. I said it right.
Be good, do good.
Hashtag be good, do good.
Yeah, nice. Also, please write a review on wherever you find us.
iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and all those other little podcasting places that have podcasts.
So definitely be part of the movement where we're doing good things. So,
and you know our mantra. Everybody talks about business in the world, and it's cutthroat, and it's this and that. But Biz4Good is about you can do business in the world and do good things and in true, we've been talking about this in a lot of ways, and tell us if we're wrong, Daryl. I know it's Daryl, but for some reason I want to say Darren all the time, so I'm trying to catch myself.
That's it.
But we believe that there's a lot of profit, actually money to be made in doing good things. Not just going out there looking for profit, but as you do good, people want to do business with you.
Oh, absolutely. I agree 100%. Oh, yeah. In fact, that's kind of my mantra, and that's what I do as a business owner and a business leader, is help people tap into the good that they have deep inside of them and turn that into the life they want.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's not about focusing on money, but when you focus on really good stuff, people feel it. And in this day and age, too, people aren't stupid anymore.
No, they're not.
They get that you're out just for the money or whatever. But when you really are focusing on them and you give them real value, you'll get a lot in return.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100% on that.
Awesome. With that said, let's talk about our biz hack today. Daryl, for whatever reason, why I want to say Darren is beyond me.
We'll correct you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just keep correcting. That's
you
good.
tell
That's good.
him.
Daryl has... Yeah, it is Daryl.
It is Daryl.
Oh, man, I have blown it, folks. Okay, it's Daryl. I actually know Daryl, too. Yes, believe it or not.
We've met a few times.
yeah, once or twice. So he is taking on the biz hack for us today. So Daryl, jump in on the biz hack and give us some clues. Biz hack.
Okay, well I'll tell you one of my favorite people in the world is Dr. Wayne Dyer, and he has a saying that says, when you change your perspective, what you look at changes. And really it does. And this deals with networking as business owners. We all have done this. I know because I used to do it. You go to these networking meetings, you go to these chamber functions, you grab your business cards, you throw them out like they're candy and hope that one of these people is going to be your customer, and you bug them to death until they either sign up for what you're offering or tell you, I'm really not interested, but maybe I can refer you to somebody, and pressure them until they give you referrals. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what?
That happens a lot.
Oh, yes, it does. And as business owners, networking is building a relationship, and you got to remember that. And think about those of you that are still dating and still in that realm, I feel for you. But think about those of you that when you did date, what if you dated the way you networked? Because that's building a relationship too. Imagine going to a dance, walking up to every available young lady or young man, whatever your preference is, and saying, hi, this is the type of partner I'm looking for. Are you that partner? Could you be that partner? Do you want to be that partner?
Yeah, I'm sure that would go over very well.
Yeah, no, it didn't. I tried it once, and I really got a few slaps.
You
And
tried it once.
No, the seriousness, though, is this. Networking is like dating people. You've got to build a relationship. So my biz hack is, next time you go to a network meeting, imagine you're out there to build a relationship, not to get a referral, not to get business, not to go and get a sell, just to build relationships with the people there and see how your perspective shifts and what happens to your networking power.
Yeah. You know, it's so interesting. Me and Ryan talk about this all the time. When we have people on the show, it always comes down to the relationships we make and how we make them. When they're legit, when they're real, when they're good relationships, you grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's every time, isn't it, Ryan?
I think, that relationships is the core of our purpose. So that's why it's on the show every dang time.
Because it's the core of doing good and being good, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely.
I couldn't agree more.
Awesome. Okay, a wisdom's moment. What did we... Oh, did we... Oh, yes, I do know what we decided on. Yes. So the 8th wisdom, the last wisdom, and truthfully the most powerful force in the universe is love. And we don't talk about love in the business world very often. That's kind of
which is a shame.
It is a shame. It's sad because when you treat your employees with love, when you treat the customers or potential customers that you meet with love, it's real, it's genuine, and they get it and they know it. It's just sad that should be taught in business school, to respect and love people, but it's too woo-woo-y, right? What do you think?
I think, you're hitting onto something that I do a lot in my teaching as a business mentor. The first thing that I talk to people about is it doesn't matter if this person's a competitor. It doesn't matter if they've done you wrong. It doesn't matter what reputation you have with them. You treat them with respect, kindness, and gratitude. Because when you do, it shifts everything between the two of you. Yeah. All of a sudden, you don't have a competitor. You have a collaborator. And really, that goes to the core of love. We are made of love. Love flows through us and everything in existence and connects all of us. Yep. When we put up a barrier to any connection with other people, you might block the love because it's too woo-woo. Now you've got competitors that lead to things like, world wars.
Absolutely. Cool. So, a wisdom moment today is love. Pay attention to it. Focus on it. Connect with loving people instead of seeing what they can give you or what you can get out of them. Just give them a pure, open love.
I learned something that I think applies to this just last week from one of my business mentors. And I have a lot of business mentors, people. I have got so many people.
Oh, that's a hint. You got to love that. A smart person that has a lot of business mentors.
Oh, yes. I pay oodles of money every month to have people tell me what I can do better. And it's awesome. Great. It pays off. So one of my business mentors taught me this phrase the other day, and he said, I was just looking at some of my kids and the choices they made that I don't approve of. And I had to learn the phrase, but there's so much more. So there's something out there that I don't really like that lifestyle my daughter chose, but she's so much more than that.
Oh, it's so true.
Just think of that phrase next time you're in a situation, this feels competitive, this feels like, we're at odds. You know what? Maybe that person is frustrating with this. But they are so much more than that.
And sometimes we label ourselves, and we're so much more than that. You are so much more than the label that you put on yourself. Even we talk about labels we put on other people, but what about the labels we put on ourselves that defines us to us? That isn't even. It's only.
Or that we allow others to put on us.
On us, absolutely, absolutely. So take it out there to the world, folks. Love. All right, good news, Ryan.
You know what? On the way to the studio, this popped into my head. Now, this is a challenge that's impromptu. I didn't even tell you guys.
Ooh, love it when
what a challenging day.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I think I have one of those.
Your timing's going to get better and better. I just know.
I got it. I'll get these memorized. So, I was thinking, a challenge is we do everything social media. I think a challenge today or the next week, find somebody you haven't connected with and actually call them. Maybe even meet them.
That's crazy.
Crazy talk. And I'm going to do that today later on. And I'm looking forward to it.
You're going to call somebody you know on Facebook?
I haven't talked to them for a while, so I'm going to do that.
Oh, that is crazy.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
do it.
Dude, I can think of quite a few that I would love to talk. That is Brian, that's why he's here, man. He is the bomb. Okay, challenge accepted. You heard it, us. Now you guys listening to the show. Challenge, hopefully you accepted it.
Well, and you know what, listeners? Go post about the challenge. I'm sure the hosts of this podcast would love to hear your experience with it. Go post about it, then the good spreads to more people.
Hashtag be good, do good.
There
Give
you
us
go.
a hashtag be good, do good. Hashtag Biz4Good.
All right, so the next segment we have here is the good news, and it actually comes from a website called Just Good News.
Biz. Love good news.
Excuse me.
We're big fans of good news because we don't really listen to the news because it's usually not got any news worth listening to. That's good.
I did a segment just like this when I was a radio show host on K-Talk for a while. I took 30 minutes of my show and always did some good news that wasn't in the mainstream media.
Yeah.
Love it. We need more of that, man. We need more of that.
Oh, yeah. This I put up already on our Facebook page. It's already there. It's Tech Trep Academy launches in Provo, teaches kids tech skills. In a nutshell, I don't want to go into too much, but they initiated basically this curriculum that teaches areas like 3D printing, game programming, entrepreneurship, media editing, digital art, animation, sound mixing, and even Minecraft modding.
Oh,
that is a lucrative career, actually.
So many kids say, I want to be a game developer. I want to be a game developer. I took a group of kids once to an actual development, a game developing company, and we went through, did a tour. There's a lot of work to making a game.
Yes,
it's not.
It's not fun
most
in
of their
games.
games take at least about a year to develop, and each person works on this one little bitty piece of the game, and it's really interesting. The graphics guy, there's one graphics guy that just does tree crap in the background, the stuff in the background. And there's one guy that just does the characters, and there's one guy that just develops what. It was really cool because they had all this stuff where they had these little points where if you walked across the point, then that would cause a reaction. And there's hundreds and hundreds of these points all over this grid.
Wow.
And they had to program all this. It was cool, but I'm like, after the kids left that, they're like, that's a lot of work. Ooh, I just wanted to make a game. I just want to make a game happen.
I think the point to this story is it relates into good. I think getting out of just regular curriculum and giving opportunity to kids to what's in real world.
Yes.
I think is a good thing. So
that is awesome news. To know that that's out there.
Let's lead to quote of the day, Ryan, so we can get done with segments. What's the quote of the day?
Man, I'm just doing it all now. It's just like the Ryan show.
Yeah, Ryan show.
Wasn't that always the goal eventually? No.
See you, Bobby.
Yeah. So long, farewell, Aviva, something Hussein.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get cast in that part after that.
All right. The Sound of Music was not my thing. That was from The Sound of Music, wasn't it?
It was. The Von Trapp kids are now not fighting Nazis. They're also fighting Saddam Hussein.
Mesh.
Well,
We're going on the... Yeah. Anyway, we're going to go to a quote.
I knew Daryl was going to be fun. I knew it.
It's going to be a blast. We have Ralph Waldo Emerson. Anybody know that guy?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Philosophically, he's somebody that I followed and read all of his works. I studied him in college in religious study as a religious studies minor. He did a lot for the New Age movement and embracing of nature.
All right. Well, we'll let you read the.
Oh, well, thank you. Finish each day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. Begin it well and serenely, and with too high a spirit to be encumbered by your old nonsense.
Whoa! We gotta hire this guy. That was awesome.
He's hired.
Yeah, but I know you're too busy to do.
I will come support you as often as you need, and I can.
Oh, you're awesome. Awesome. Okay. Let's get into the nitty-gritty and get into the interview. You up for that, Daryl?
I'm certainly up for that, since you can't get me to shut up anyway.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'd like to start off with just finding out who you are. Kind of give us a spiel of the things. We're going to talk about what you're doing later, but we want to kind of just know who is Daryl Price.
It's great you start with that question, because I start all of my trainings, everything I do as a coach, with that question. Because the way someone answers that tells me where they are in life, what world they've created, compared to who they want to be. So when you ask who I am, I'm Daryl Shaun Price. I am an inspirational leader. I help people change their lives to whatever they want them to be from whatever they are now.
Awesome.
That's the quick sum of it all. I'm also father of 4 children. I've been in Utah for, oh my gosh, it's been about 5 years now. That's insane.
Ooh, where'd you come from?
Texas.
Oh, I love
Texas.
That's my blend. My Texas. High five, baby.
I'm going to need all the
Yeehaw.
Texans, people.
Texas. What part?
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect cue. The southernmost tip. I grew up in a place that was 90% Hispanic, so I was one of 5 white people in my high school. So it was interesting to grow up as a middle-class white male. That's a minority. But yeah, I grew up in the southernmost tip, McAllen, Texas. It's 5 minutes from Mexico and about 30 minutes from the beach.
Allen, yes, very familiar.
It is the most liberal place in the nation, stuck in the most conservative state in the nation. It's very odd.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what brought you to Utah? What you been doing?
Well, I've been doing a lot of things. I'll kind of tell you my background of why I came to Utah and what developed, and that'll lead right into what I'm doing.
Awesome.
So I have been divorced now for almost 8 years. I was in an 11-year marriage where neither one of us was in love with each other and didn't get what marriage was supposed to be about. we followed the social norms of the religion we were in, and who told us, oh, you're supposed to get married now. Just find someone and do it. And didn't take it to heart of the real spirit behind what that message was. So after that marriage, I lived in Texas very close to my kids, and I refused to leave. Though over and over again, I felt like I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be somewhere else making a difference, and I didn't know where it was. The last place on my list would have been Utah.
Right.
I went to college in Utah. I've got family here that I was on the outs with back then. So that did not sound like a pleasant idea. But little by little, things started pointing me that way. I came to Utah with a couple jobs in my pocket already, and I had owned a web design company in South Texas, one of the most successful ones down there. 4 kids living in an apartment in Salt Lake have lost all income.
Oh, no.
It was the most down of my life. I was within a week of becoming homeless and going to a shelter with my 4 kids.
Wow.
It was not where I thought I would be after following my gut.
And especially doing so well in that, you know.
Yeah, I know it's a whole different industry, because if you're working with people that are 10 years behind versus now I got to compete with people that are up to date,
Yeah.
it was a whole different mindset. And I honestly wasn't out there looking for clients, because these 2 clients were paying my bills. I was just good. I was stable. I just wanted to settle down and just grow some roots.
I think that's where we all want to be sometimes, you know.
But that's, I think, the issue. This is where I really started to kick in some of the deeper things I had learned from my own studies. The one thing that, you know, again, shifting perspective. Oftentimes I've caught myself saying, oh, well, this happened to me. This happened to me. This happened to me. No, it didn't.
So many people.
It happened for me.
Ooh, I love it. That's exciting.
The universe does not happen to you. It happens for you. And I had to learn this the hard way. So I got to the point I had nothing. The girl I was dating dumped me and told me that she's not interested in seeing me again. I had nobody. I had 4 kids. I had no income. I couldn't get help from the church that I was part of back then. Nothing. There was nothing.
Wow.
But if the universe had not taken everything away from me, I wouldn't have had the blank slate to build what I have now.
Ooh.
And if I had listened and not fought it, I could have had what I had now without doing it the hard way.
Well, sometimes I know I'm kind of a hard way learner myself, so sometimes it's brutal.
Yeah, well, I'm not perfect at it still, and I never will be, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And you know, I learned
Go ahead.
from that experience probably the most important lesson. I'm not scared to fail anymore. I've already failed as far as I can fail. I give myself permission to fail at everything I try.
Awesome.
Because the difference between a master and an amateur... Oh, I know you know this quote.
I do!
Okay, go!
The difference between a master and an amateur is the master has failed more times than the amateur has tried.
Amen.
Yes!
Those are words to live by.
Oh, it is. And I think they were from Yoda. I'm not sure.
We'll let you think that. Keep that fantasy going. I used to know who they were from. In fact, when you shared that in a meeting we were in the other day, I'm like, did he steal that from my wall? I posted that the other day.
I actually took a picture of it because it was on somebody's cubicle.
No, there you go. That makes sense.
Or on their wall in their office. But,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
this leads us into what does business for good mean to you? What is Biz for Good? We ask this to everybody that comes on the show. What does it mean to Daryl?
Well, it means to me that one thing that I teach my kids and that I teach everybody I work with about the choice you have. You will have an influence on everybody you come across. You could be walking down the street and glance at somebody for 10 seconds. You have changed their life. It will be one of 2 changes. You will lift them or you will lower them. And you have to choose now. I'm lifting. It doesn't matter. In fact, I did this interesting social experiment in college you just reminded me of. I used to have this really early morning job. I woke up at 3:30 in the morning to go to the Fine Arts building to dust all the pianos. It took me hours to dust these pianos because I love music and I start playing and I like, oh wait, I've been in this room for 30 minutes, I should move on. And so eventually they said, you need to do something else because you take way too long to do this one job we give you. But I used to get bored and think a lot as I'm walking that early in the morning. There's no one else around. And by the time I get done with my job and I'm walking home to take a mid-morning nap, most students are going to the classes. So I did this experiment once. I said, we cross each other's paths all day long, every day, hundreds and hundreds of people. And we all have that same expression on our face, like we kind of pretend we're not looking at them as we walk by. Oh, look at the clouds and the trees, and oh, I don't know you, I'm not looking at you. No, I'm not a creeper. We're so worried about how this person's going to receive the fact we might connect with them for half a second
So true.
that we like block it.
It's true.
And so I did this experiment, and I told myself every day, for this entire day, every person that crosses my path, I am going to look at and smile. I don't care how they receive it. I'm going to smile at them. And I can tell you, most of the people, I had this look like, do I know you? What are you doing? Like, oh my gosh, you showed me some compassion as a human being. I can't handle this. But there were a few people that, for example, I remember this one young lady, and I don't know anything about her. I don't know her name. I remember she was looking down, and you could just see the heaviness on her. I looked at her and smiled. She looked up. She smiled. Her step got lighter. She started to immediately have a better day. And that was proof to me that, you know what, you lift people, that comes back to you, because I know you both know the feeling I had after seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just was an enlightening, amazing, peaceful experience. So really quick, though, because I don't want to end my story with, oh, you're homeless.
Very good.
Dude.
So, yeah, coming back to that, and I'll get to the point really quick here. So I got from that point to, I just decided I needed to go out and do things for me that I loved and not worry about money. I started to go hang out at this local place where a friend of mine ran karaoke, and I love to sing. And
we got to do karaoke together, man.
Oh yes, we do.
watch you.
It will be a Facebook Live experience your listeners might get driven away from.
Yeah, very true.
We might spare you that.
Well, I have a feeling you and me will have a lot of fun.
Yes,
doing it.
we will. So, as I went so often, this guy knew how techie I was, and he sucked with his technology. He broke his computer every week, and I had to keep helping him fix it and do things. So eventually, he had to have surgery. And right before I was going to be homeless, he's like, hey, can I pay you to take over my gigs for the next 3 months? Sure. I know you know how to run the tech. You're a great singer. You're a good performer. You'd be a great KJ. And in exchange, what I'll do is I will get you everything you need to start your own karaoke company.
A KJ.
Karaoke jockey.
Wow.
And so
KJ.
I started a karaoke company.
KJ.
And I loved it. And I thought, oh, I bet there's so much more I could do. And I loved touching lives. And I could see how people would come in frustrated and just having a horrible day and sit at a bar and drink. And I'll walk up to them and say, hey, what's your favorite song? Oh, I like this. Do you want to sing it or me? I'll sing it for you, but I'd rather get you up there. And usually I'd get them to sing it with me. And to watch their faces light up. And I started to operate a karaoke company in a very different way in Utah than other people did. You know how you go to karaoke gigs and they hand you this binder maybe that's all falling apart and missing half the songs? I didn't want to be that person. So I said, you know, I have the attention of 60 to 100 people a night. That's worth something. What if I were to print a newspaper, sell ads in the newspaper to pay for the printing that was our song list that everybody could take their own copy of? And then from that, I got a partner that started doing PR for me while I was running gigs. And she had the idea, well, if we've got a newspaper anyway with ads in it, why don't we turn it into a magazine and do articles? Oh, and so I'm very percussive.
Yeah, I
We'll get
love
used
it.
to that.
You're
I
animated.
love it. Your energy is awesome.
Woo! Yeah. And so what happened was we kind of blew up from there. I mean, it was funny because my business partner and I, and you've met her, Glen. She has been with me in every endeavor. I met her right as I started this karaoke company years ago, and everything we've done ever since, she's been there every step along the way. And I will tell you, whatever you want to do in life, people, you find yourself somebody to hold you accountable to doing it
Oh,
right.
he's
Ding,
talking
ding, ding.
our language, baby.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But this partner of mine, she is amazing. She checks one time I post something without her reading over it. She goes, you have 14 grammar errors in there. I'm like, oh, dang it. Yeah, and so but she keeps me on track. And she keeps my conscience in place when I get so wrapped up in, oh, I could get like $15,000 more if I did this thing. She's like, yeah, but you could touch more lives if you did this.
That's
Exactly.
follow the passion, follow the good, really. You follow the good,
Yes.
you're going to have a better life, period. And you're also going to change people's lives instead of just tricking them out of money or whatever.
Yeah. And so getting this story a little shorter. I know I'm long-winded.
I love it.
My stories have so much there that I know people can learn from, though, and that's really why I share them. I don't care that anyone what they think about me is none of my business, but if they can get one thing out of it, if there's one listener out there today that says, "Hey, your story touched me. I'm going to change my life," this has been worth every effort to be on this show. I agree. He is getting good with those. So, in fact, we had a newspaper, one of the local newspapers just thought it was so amazing what we were doing with our karaoke company compared to every other KJ out there. We got a lot of flack from the other KJs who said we're weaseling in on their territory too much, but another story. So this newspaper reporter came out, and me and my partner are so integrated in what we do and so in sync in setting goals and how we coordinate and how we collaborate with each other that they printed in the article, Daryl, Shaun Price, and Jalene Wilkinson, husband and wife owners of this company. We're not married. Yeah. We're not in a relationship at all. So, but it had already printed before she checked with us. So somewhere out there's a newspaper article claiming we're married. So we took that karaoke company. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So we took that karaoke company. We developed a magazine. And we noticed that nobody that was the karaoke people were getting the magazine except for the song list. The articles, entrepreneurs loved. Oh. So we developed the list, and it got its name because it was a song list originally, and then it became a magazine. And so it became, for a couple years while we ran this company, the thing for entrepreneurs and small businesses in Utah to get on the list and have an article about what they're doing and have an article about what impact they're making. From the list, I got invited to host a radio talk show.
So the name of the magazine was The List?
The List.
Oh.
Isn't that cool?
It is. Cool. I love it.
In fact, you can go see the last issue of The List. We did close that company and sold it on thelistut.com. We still have a PDF version of it up there.
The List?
thelistut.com.
ut.com.
And the last issue is not anything to write home about. The reason why we got out of the magazine business is we found out we were spending more money than we were making.
Yeah, I know this logo here.
What's that?
I know the logo here. For
well, you developed that logo. That is the List logo. You've probably seen it in a lot of places.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of good momentum. K-Talk came to me and said, "Hey, will you host a show? We need a show that has more good news. We need a show that has more uplifting stuff. All we have is people arguing and complaining about politics all day long, and we're losing listeners." I'm like, really? I wonder why. You mean negativity and people don't want to keep listening? So we had a show for a while.
I think people are getting tired of it. I really do.
Oh, they are. Absolutely. And we developed a company called Divine Wisdom Media where we got people in to the show, and then we helped them with podcasts afterwards. And then there were so many organizations that I interviewed while I did that show that were just amazing to me. But once again,
there's a lot of good being done out there. You watch the news and you don't think there is, but there is.
In fact, I am going to recommend to you, and this shout out that they're going to thank me for later, but I'm going to recommend you guys get as a guest on your show Canines with a Cause.
Canines with a Cause.
Canines with write it down, Ryan.
With a K. In fact,
I think it's being recorded. But
yeah. It's being recorded.
Yes, Prosperity will have that out there. And yes, Canines with a Cause, shout out to you guys, because what they're doing is they are taking dogs and training dogs to be PTSD dogs for veterans.
Oh, we need to hook them up with Jerry.
Yeah, we just had. He's doing a cause base like that.
Actually, I've already hooked Jerry up with them.
Oh, yeah, because he's doing his dog thing.
Biz4Good is happening.
Biz4Good happens everywhere.
But I will get you their contact info. You need to invite them to be guests. They would love to do it.
Oh,
they were one of the best guests I ever had.
Oh, let's do it. Okay, we're going to switch cards and all that stuff.
You got it.
Oh, okay, that leads us into what's Daryl doing now? What's going on?
Well, let me tell you.
Tell us about the cool. I know you're ready to explode and get it out there.
Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you. It's amazing. So shortly after my divorce, I got into counseling, into a master's in counseling program, and found out I didn't want to be a counselor. And I found that out through 2 elective courses I took that made me a certified life coach. I'm like, this is where it's at. Counselors go in and they're going to open up the closet with all your skeletons in it, grab each skeleton out and throw it at you one by one until you deal with it. I'm like, I don't want to dig up people's skeletons and throw them at them. I want to help them have a good life as they are. And when it was explained to me by some of my instructors, what a life coach does is they take someone where they are, help them define where they want to be, and then hold them accountable for building a bridge to get there. I'm like, I can do that. That sounds positive.
Yeah, much better.
Much better.
So I've been a life coach for over 10 years now, and shortly after the whole almost homeless with my kids incident, I started finding people needed some of the messages I've been trained to teach them about. And so I helped some people with relationships. I helped some people as a business mentor. I helped develop programs for organizations for people that had suffered trauma. I've been involved in lots of different things. And there's a lot of programs out there with a lot of hype. And they do a lot of good. A couple that come to mind are Impact Training and Landmark Training.
I've heard of both of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people that have gotten into these programs, and they've got constant updates from counselors they can refer to, and then they try to, and I love these programs for what they do, but they're the tip of the iceberg. The reality is this. I found out in my life, going through the hells I've gone through to figure out who I really am, it all boils down to remembering. Remember who you are. You came into this life. You came into this life playing. You came into this life creating. You came into this life imagining. When you were a child, you could be anything. You could be the astronaut, the cowboy, the president, you name it. Until society and family with good intentions and other organizations told you, no, you can't do that. No, that's not the way it's done. No, that's not smart to do. There's nothing greater than the power of you when you tap into who you really are. So what I've done is I pulled all the different trainings I've done and taught to hundreds of people in different areas throughout the last decade or so into one program. The program's called The Evolution of the Extraordinary You. It is.
I love it.
Thank
That
you.
Sounds good.
It is a serious.
Hold it. Let me try
Good.
this. The elevation.
Evolution.
The evolution. Okay. Go ahead. Tell me one more time.
The evolution of the extraordinary
The
you.
evolution of the extraordinary you. I love that. The evolution of the extraordinary you. The
You know what?
I got too excited, folks.
That's
Sorry.
okay. But I like the fact you slipped into the word elevation. The elevation
That's
into the
where I was going.
extraordinary
That's
you.
exactly. You saw me. You saw right through me. That's exactly where I was
Totally
going.
planning that, Bob.
Yeah, perfect. Well timed. I'll make sure to compensate you later.
I love the whole energy around that. It sounds really, really cool. So, how do we find out more? What do we do?
So our website's being updated. It will launch on Memorial Day.
Oh.
When it launches, all the information will be up there. The website is youcenteredliving.com.
And we'll make sure to get that on the podcast or on the website and all that good stuff. So it'll be listed.
Absolutely, and I will send you some links
And
to
do you
it.
have social media presence?
Yes.
Are you just working on that now? This is a new project?
It is a new project, so we're building it up right now. We do have social media presence. I'm meeting with 4 firms this week who are going to help maintain and monitor that and boost it in a huge way.
Awesome.
But the program is 6 weeks. It is very intensive. I am looking for people who are serious about, I am tired of living life the same old way. I don't want to just be a sheeple. I want to be me. And I want the freedom to be me and have the life that makes me the happiest. And so it's going to be very intensive. And during the 6 weeks, you're going to have one day each week that is group instruction. And it'll be webinar, seminar. We're going to kind of mix it up between live and online for people that want to sign up for the program. You're going to have one day a week that's instruction on whatever the topic is of the day. Then you're going to have a day a week about 2 days later where you get a group session where you're masterminding with the people that are in that group with you about that topic and say, okay, so this week I've already tried this, and here's the miracle I've seen in my life.
Wow, it almost sounds like it's a bunch of different classes in one, because I pay for a lot of different stuff like that that's just a mastermind or just an online or just, so it sounds like you've got this whole shebang, basically.
Well, I wanted to not be another program that was the tip of the iceberg. I wanted to say, we're making real changes in people's lives.
You go to my $20 class, so I can tell you about my $100 class, so I can tell you that you're really going to come in on my $500 class, but at $1,000, this is going to change, but the $5,000 one is definitely, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And then we got some mentorship. There will be 100.
Yeah.
Well, and and I'll be honest with you. I make my money through programs and through coaching, and I've built up.
I mean, that's how it works.
But this is not a program where you're going to get sold to another program. This is the program. This is it.
Oh,
you know exactly
that's
what you're
cool.
getting up
That's
front.
Exciting.
There's
Definitely the key.
There's no upselling afterwards. There are, I mean, at some point I'm going to be having retreats to nice beach resorts, and I've already been invited to be a leader in a huge retreat to Bali, for example, and a couple other places. So yeah, you'll have to pay to go to the retreats, but we're not going to sell you into another program. But I want to give you every tool you need to be extraordinary in your life.
You're providing a lot of value, and I think that's the key for it.
Well, and you know what? There's more. I didn't even tell you the rest of the value.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay.
So 1 day of instruction. Then 2 days later, you've got a big mastermind kind of group session where you're all getting together and saying, okay, well, this is the miracles I've seen. This is how I've applied this principle. Then 2 days after that, you have one-on-one coaching. So you get your direct mentorship every week.
It literally is all of them combined.
Instead of having you upsell you to more and more. And that's really the thing that I see with these programs out there. They do a good job. And I get why...
there's powerful stuff. I spent lots of money on most of that stuff.
Oh, you and me both. You and me both. But there's a reason why they do the model they do, because it increases the profits. I'll tell you, I have been through what I've been through. I have a lot of stuff going on. I invest in cars and flip them. I invest in homes and properties. I'm not doing this because I'm going to make my millions this way.
It's because you have a passion for it.
Exactly.
You know it's needed. You want to change people's lives.
Exactly. And that's really what it's about.
That's what Biz4Good is all about. It really is.
And with that in mind, I want to offer your listeners a very, very big special right here.
Awesome.
So 6-week program, very intensive. It's something that requires a lot of commitment on your part to do things in your life. And you'll be guided along the way what these things are. So the offer I have for anyone who subscribes to the Biz4Good podcast
We got fireworks, Ryan.
Ready?
Fireworks.
That was kind of premature. I haven't said it yet.
I know.
Well, I thought
so
we'd
get
do
them ready.
Fireworks and then tell them, and then do fireworks.
Okay, that's good. I'm good with that. That was testing the fireworks for later.
I jumped the gun. Okay.
So this is normally a $2,000 program. Anybody who is a Biz4Good listener that can tell me, hey, I heard about this here, I'm going to let you get into the program for $895, and I'll work with you on payments.
Awesome.
Memorial Day, when the site launches, I will be sending these gentlemen a code that they can publish, that they can say, hey, any listener, tell them you heard it here, use this code.
We'll give you the code. We'll send you the code.
Absolutely. Because I figure if someone's listening to this podcast, they're my perfect client. They're the ones ready to change and do good and be good. And it's, really quick rundown on what the 6 weeks entails so people do know what they're getting into.
Yep.
First
week. We're running on a high time, so let's do it.
Okay.
Wrapping it up. We're wrapping it up, folks.
Good. So the first week is about discovering who you really are, getting rid of the external labels, the internal labels, all the crap that's not you, and seeing what's left so you can build from there. The second week is about you and your spirituality. Mm-hmm. And this is not religion specific. You can be Christian, you can be Muslim, you can be a New Ager, it doesn't matter. You can be Hindu. You're going to learn how to tap into your own personal spirituality and connect to whatever higher power you worship in a way that keeps you in a place of peace and learning and flow. Awesome. Then it goes into you as a powerful creator and how karma works in all of our lives and that you can create whatever life you want. Then it goes into the physical you, talking about things like physical fitness and health and how much that has an impact on you, but not in an extreme way. We're not going to go out and CrossFit and diet fad. We're going to help you tap into who you are and what works for you so you can take a step forward every day. Awesome. Then it's the money you and your relationship with money and how to create real wealth in your life in any industry you want, and you and your relationships. How to have relationships that are always lifting. So it is pretty intensive. And really quick, here's my challenge to your listeners.
Oh, we got a challenge.
30 seconds. If you will do this every day for 30 seconds this week, I promise you your lives will change because I've done it. In Hindu, there is a word called antishna. We don't have a word like it in English, but it basically means the single eye of the heart. And it's being in the state where your heart and brain are in harmony so things are flowing naturally. So take 30 seconds, listeners. I want you to close your eyes. You're going to put your hand physically where your heart is. And I want you guys to do this with me right now. Put your hand physically where your heart is. Close your eyes. Think about something, no matter how little in your life, that you are grateful for. And feel what that feels like. Think about an experience that you have appreciated in your life and what that feels like. Think about someone you have true compassion for and what that feels like. Now open your eyes. How do you feel? That good, warm, fuzzy feeling is the state of ante-ishna. When you tap into that state and put it in your business, for example, things flow in an amazing way that I cannot describe to you without you experiencing it.
I love it. Well, we can't say any more than that. So, folks, hashtag
Be good, do good.
hashtag
Be good, do good.
hashtag
Be good, do good.
Thank you for listening to the Biz for Good Show series with Bobby, Glen, James, and Ryan Pilkington. We want to thank our guests and all our fans of the show. Again, you can find us online at biz4goodshow.com and on all our social platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and